This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
White trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. Cat drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
She wasn't a big fan of his.
Hey there, everybody.
Hey.
What's going on? Welcome to
Wah.
King of the Hill podcast. I am Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
Rusty, brand new setup.
Yeah, and we're back.
Look at this.
Sorry
Oh,
for the
you
hiatus.
had a baby. You had a baby.
Yeah, we had a kid. But not only that, hope
Healthy,
everybody
happy,
liked
all
the
that?
yeah, everything's
Baby's
great.
healthy,
Yeah,
all that?
big as hell.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
already 11 pounds.
11 pounds.
Was born at 10.6.
Yikes. What are you feeding this kid?
Right now we have to supplement with formula
Yeah,
because
sure.
there's not enough cow
You eat
milk
so much, huh?
or wife milk being
Yeah.
made.
Wife milk.
Yeah.
Yum.
Well, you
Weird.
could sell that stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a commodity on the market.
Oh, yeah.
I've never personally bought breast milk. Well, I have bought breast milk,
I
but
can say I've never brought
no, you've
breast
bought
milk.
you've bought
No.
breast milk, but never
Never
human
bought
breast
human
milk.
breast milk.
I've drank a lot of animals breast milk. Have you ever had any other milk besides cow milk, like goat
Maybe
milk,
goat's milk, yeah.
goat's milk? No cat
Yeah.
milk, little Ben.
No, I shy away from
Ben Stiller?
I shy away from the cat milk.
Can you milk a cat?
I shy away from the dog milk. The only species I think are cows and humans are really the only ones I've ever done.
Which is probably for the best. I still think it's kind of weird. I was at the feed store, Atwoods.
Casey, by the way, my buddy Casey, we were talking about a guy, Joshua Bueno, earlier. He was a student of his, and he brought up that he's at the Joe Bob Briggs thing this weekend.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Shout out to my buddy
Yeah.
Bueno.
Shout
check
out to Casey
out
Jones.
Yeah, shout out to Casey Jones as well. Check out at Art of Bueno. I would say check out at Casey Jones, but don't, because I don't think he has an at.
What is this? I don't understand what's going on here. Something weird's going on with my YouTube.
Something weird is
all
going
of a
on
sudden,
with our YouTube.
Well, it's all of a sudden like it's gone from my regular stuff. I don't know what it's doing here. Look at that. I don't even know what cartoon that is. That's Dale. Is that a normal? It's gone from my. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I
Good
guess
enough.
so.
All right.
I guess so.
It just looks weird. I don't know why.
Yeah, it does look a little weird.
Huh. Well, anyway,
We're live though, and I have to say, Mike, this might be our cleanest
It looks good, doesn't it?
looking production that we've done with like live.
So what we're in right now,
I like it.
Is we're using 4K cameras. We're in the sports studio here at Rogue Media Network. This is
We're
what we
taking over
do
the
to go
sports.
live 2 times a day, 5 days a week. And so we have worked on this look quite a bit. Before, you guys were getting like a camera off the laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was a little rough. Hopefully, did you check the sound and everything? Sounds good?
It sounded
All
great.
that? Okay.
Yeah, it sounded really good.
Yeah, if anybody has any things that come up, let me know.
I've got the chat up too,
Yeah,
so if
good.
anybody
There you
wants
go.
to engage, interact. We got Artie. Welcome, Artie. Welcome
up,
back,
Artie?
Artie. RDX, the X Files,
Artie.
the X Factor.
X Factor, X-Files.
He's saying this is the best sound that he is
Ah.
the X Files, the Artie X Files.
The Artie Files.
Yeah. He is the Artie Facts.
He
He
says best
is says best sound
That's
that
excellent.
we've had in a while. So I guess this is
Well,
the go-to from here on out, guys. So no
Our
worries.
show-
We're good.
our show
has
is
evolved.
always because I run this place and Rusty comes in and and we try to do it fast and try not to put a lot on Mason's plate.
Yeah.
This show often is like, okay, let's just do it in here. We'll do that while other people are using studios and stuff.
Yeah, we're the most
But at
adaptable
this
show
point-
on the network.
Yeah, but at this point on a Saturday and Sunday, we've got nobody back here using Studio 3, which is the
No.
sports studio, and so it should be ours. I mean, we can do whatever we want to back here.
Well, as soon as we clear the whole floor, we got to clear the floor yet. Don't you get still
Yeah.
rooms to clear out? Like
yeah,
we're waiting for people
part of
to
the year.
leave so we
Yeah.
could take over the rest of the floor that we're on.
First part of the year is what we're hoping for,
And
then,
then,
I hope to set up a couple of different studios in there. One being kind of a nerd studio that you and I can shoot this out of.
Yeah.
If not, we just continue to shoot in here. You know, I mean,
Wherever
this is-
we can shoot on the roof, we
I mean,
can
it honestly
shoot in
looks
the
pretty-
basement.
It looks pretty good. If you take us out of the picture, it looks pretty darn good. So,
We could shoot in the back of a truck. I think that would be crazy if we could get the bed of a truck up here somewhere
yeah,
and just sit on the bed of a truck
Yeah.
and
like Mason
shoot the
came in.
shit.
Here's Mason. Yeah,
Yeah,
going.
we're
Say hi.
live on
Say hi,
YouTube.com / @BWAAAKOTH. Yeah, they can't hear you. You're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're live and
Everybody's
recording.
good.
We're just
We're just BSing and talking about the room.
it's been a while since we've recorded, so
Yeah.
we're just trying to update everybody, let them know that we're not
We're
disappearing.
not dead.
Yeah.
We're not gone.
Life
Yeah.
just happens sometimes, and
That's the way it goes.
we're looking for voice actors for the content that we have been putting out. We've been using artificial intelligence voices, but me and Mike want to reach out to people and
Right.
offer people voice opportunities through that stuff.
I used the time that you were away to just fill our feed full of stuff.
Yeah, I
so
saw. I was
I
listening to
had-
some of it, and it's really, really good. Welcome,
Principal
Javen
Moss-
Johnson.
Had
Welcome.
Principal Moss doing the morning announcements at Tom Landry Middle School.
Yeah.
and then
So we
I've
need a
got-
Principal Moss,
and then I've got Jimmy Witchert, who has started his own podcast.
and we need a Jimmy Witcher.
Jimmy's Eye in
So
the sky.
So we're looking for a Jimmy Witcher and we're looking for a Principal Moss.
And
So send in your voice clips to BWAAAKOTH@gmail.com
Yeah,
and we'll provide scripts. We
Oh,
just need
yeah.
voices.
absolutely.
We just need voice actors. And
And
this is not a paid gig.
Yeah.
I'll pay you an exposure, as they say in the industry.
Let's-
It's just a fun hobby to get involved in like us because this is just our fun hobby.
yesterday we had Bobby Hill read some fan fiction.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
you go.
So we're looking for a Bobby Hill
It's a
too.
little
So there
weird.
you
It's a
go.
little odd, guys, but hopefully you enjoyed it. It won't be a regular thing, but we
But it
try
can
things
be a
every-
regular thing.
Well,
We
I'm saying
don't
we
want to
just try it
regularly
every once in a
use
while, yeah.
AI or whatever, because but we want to involve y'all. So like we could eliminate the AI voices and just have you guys read it if you want to be involved. So like I said, Bobby Hill, Jimmy Witcher, Principal Moss,
Yeah.
BWAAAKOTH@gmail.com,
I would take a John Redcorn also.
and a John
If anybody has a
Redcorn.
John Redcorn, I would love to do like a meditation kind of thing with John Redcorn.
I had a
That would be
buddy
fun.
in high school who was mixed Mexican and white,
Yeah.
and he was tall, and he was dark, and he had the jawline and the features,
The
and he had the
long flowing hair.
long black
Yeah.
hair because he was a skater. He had the long black hair, and that was his nickname was John Redcorn.
John Redcorn. All right, so
John
here we
Red
are.
Bean.
We are back. We got King of the Hill, episode 6. Season 6, episode 17.
Yep.
6 ABE 15 in the year of our Lord. The name of this episode is Fun with Jane and Jane. This is
It
from
is.
April 21st, 2002. We start this sucker with no bell, no yell.
No bell, no yell, and that's because
we
there's
are
not a
at
season finale.
Strickland Propane at dusk. So it's twilight time,
Yeah.
The sun's going down. It's kind of orange outside. You see Hank in the window of the store, and he turns the open close sign to closed. And then right behind him, up comes Buck. Well, looky who's still here, my loyal Hank. By God, you look handsome today. Anytime Buck starts off a sentence by complimenting you, you know something's coming.
And he looks, I don't know,
he
in this episode, I guess the artists kind of tried to, at the very beginning of it or whatever, I guess the cartoonists tried to make him look kind of sinister.
Yeah.
Because if you kind of look at him, he just kind of, I don't know,
Little
he looks a little more maniacal than usual, I think,
Yeah.
in this. Like he's about to get over on somebody.
Well, Hank turns around and goes, well, thank you, sir. You're welcome. Now, I need you to do me a favor tonight. See, of course. I mean, if he comes up to you that way, it's always going to be a favor. It's always going to be, you need to feed my dogs. You need to go tell my mistress that she has to leave town, whatever. Hank says, can't tonight, sir. Peggy and I have plans. romantic in nature.
That's sweet.
I love how Hank gets flustered every time.
I love how he has to make plans for
Romantic in
romanticism.
nature.
He can't be. There is no spontaneity in his romanticism.
We do find out that romance is in the eye of the beholder here in just a second.
Oh, Artie said the look that I was discussing just a minute ago was the LBJ look.
Oh yeah,
he said he kind of
so.
looks like LBJ coming up on you with a question.
I love when he
ready to whip his
the,
Johnson out on you.
The door later in this episode, and you can see like his big heart scars and stuff. You know?
Yeah. Where he's had his bypasses.
Yeah. He goes, cancel him. I got to run to my. You got to run to my farm, feed my emus for me. Here, feed him with this, and hands him a shotgun.
Says,
here, feed him with this. You want me to shoot your emus? I got no choice. Bottom fell out of the emu market. I'm stuck in the ass of the pyramid.
I got a funny emu story for you.
Yeah. He
okay.
said, but sir, and he goes, I want them emus dead, Hank. Make it look like a heart attack, and he leaves.
I'll go ahead and give the emu fact
I'll
give the emu fact, and then I'll give you my emu story real quick. So the emu fact from Artie, our emu fact for the day. So in the early 90s, there was this big, huge emu craze for emu meat
and emos.
It was supposed to be the emos too. Emus. Late 90s, early 2000s, maybe for the emos. Yeah. For the emos, yeah, I guess the emo part. All right. So there was a pair of emus sold for like 60 grand at the height of the market, maybe.
Yeah.
And it says that the products were meat, oil, tail feathers. They used tail feathers. They were able to be sold for like $35 a pound. So if you get a pound of tail feathers off of emus, and that grows. An emo emu. There you go.
Got it.
You saw it here first.
The show picture.
And last. Yeah. All right. So 1996 is when I moved to the United States, and I didn't know what to think. So we're driving from Dallas airport, and we drive all the way to here to town, and we pulled down our road. The road I lived on was a dead end. The very first street that we lived on, the first house we lived in, and across the street from us we had this big 2-story house, and then on the other side of the street it was just like trailers, trailers.
Sure.
And on the other side of the fence that all these trailers were on was this huge empty pasture, and there was emus on it.
Okay.
So the emu craze of the 90s that he was talking about, the guy that owned all of these trailers also owned a emu farm that was on the back side of it. And this is a emu farm in Belmead, Texas. There for you, Mike.
Started, like the emu craze.
And I used to walk to school to go get on the bus, and you could see them running up and down the fence line in the back. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, Texas is already a crazy place. And then now I've got these big ass. I was like, I told my dad, I was like, I know everything's bigger in Texas, but why are these chickens so damn big? My dad was like, they're not chickens. I was like 6. I thought they were big ass chickens.
Yeah, but how old were you?
I was 6.
6. Okay.
I thought they were massive chickens. It was like September of 96 when we moved here. So I just turned 6 in August, but they were just big ass chickens is what I said. I was like, Dad, those chickens that's
long necks.
Why are these chickens like this? These are not proportional chickens. That's not the chicken we ate last night. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. And he explained to me that's the first experience with emus. I knew what an ostrich was.
You're an ostrich egg?
Yes, I've had emu eggs. Yeah, my dad knew that guy or whatever, and we had a couple emu eggs every now and again.
Oh, really?
Emu eggs are massive too.
Emus? They lay eggs?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's the thing is
I don't know why I didn't think they laid eggs.
When people say dinosaurs never existed, birds have actually been reclassified as dinosaurs. Yeah. So birds are actually
a lot of dinosaurs
living dinosaurs,
feathers, right?
They think so, yeah, because some of the skin that they found that's been preserved, whether it be from frozen or whatever.
Yeah.
Bogs preserve it kind of weirdly, but they would have skin, but on the skin they would have, like, you've seen naked chicken skin, how it has a little nodules where it looks like where there was feathers, like the little nodules.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called scientifically, but whatever that little chicken skin, chicken skin, little bumps.
What do you call them? Goosebumps.
Little bumps, little chicken skin goosebumps. Yeah. But those little raised bumps were found on the skin, so they just concluded, well, they must have had feathers too, kind of thing. So, well, there you go.
maybe they were
Emus,
just bumpy.
dinosaurs, and eggs. Eggs are good though. Their eggs are rich.
Really?
You know what my favorite bird egg
Lots of
actually
yolk?
is though? Is quail.
Oh yeah, tiny ones.
You got to
Little
have a
tiny
lot
quail
of
eggs?
you got to have a lot of them to
Yeah.
do anything with. But the yolk is like some of the richest yolk. Duck yolk on duck eggs is kind of rich too.
Duck yolk is almost orange. It's
Yeah,
it's so
It's
thick.
real rich.
All right, we are now at the Hill House, and Peggy is all dolled up, and she is singing, "Did you happen to see the most beautiful girl in the world?" And if you did, what's she named? Peggy. I mean, that's about as
Yeah.
Luanne comes in. She says, "Hi, Luanne." And Luanne comes in the thing. She goes, "Oh, it's game night. I brought the mat from Twister, the spinner from Life, most of Operation, and a few Monopoly pieces. Can we play that, please, 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 please?" She's got just an armload of these board games, right? But none of them have all the pieces.
No, never do.
She says, "Oh, I'm sorry,
That
Luanne.
should be a game though. That should become a game. Is what they should do is Hasbro
You take all the
should
chunks.
take all of their games and make it into one
big
game. Take all the weird
We could do
ideas from
that.
each game.
We could play that.
It would be like Monopoly, Life, Scrabble.
Operation.
You would have to like spell, don't pass go,
You have to
spin
spell
the
it?
spinner. I mean,
All right, you don't have all the letters.
yeah, we don't have all the letters.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Luanne, but I made plans with your uncle tonight.
It's only 12 letters of the alphabet, not 26.
I'm
Yeah.
finally going to cash in that I owe you one dinner coupon he gave me for our anniversary. So again, that's what I'm saying. Romance is in the eye of the beholder here. For the Hills, it's a coupon book that says I'm going to take you to dinner one night.
And that's it. Just one coupon. It's not even a book. It's just one
Just
coupon, one
yeah.
dinner.
I owe you one dinner coupon.
Oh, here you go. Artie said the game should be called Luann's Life. 5 different boards and half the pieces.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's really good. And then
yeah, the
Loser-
Luann fans right now are
Loser
they're gonna be
gets
pretty
stabbed with a
pissed.
fork.
Yeah. Artie just pissed off the entire Luann fan base.
Luann's pretty sad. She goes, "But we play games together every Friday night." She goes, "Luann, you're in college. You should meet some people your own age. I fear I'm becoming your incredibly fun crutch." She goes, "Well,"
Incredibly fun.
she goes, "Well, I have seen a lot of signs on campus for sorority rush week." She goes, "Oh, good. Sororities are a great place to make friends." Now, I have never had the need to join a formal society to make friends, but then again, I've never used a dating service or a cookbook. Well, no shit, Peggy. She says, "I'm going to do it. I'm going to rush." And
That's horrible. Did she really? Ugh.
Yeah, the phone rings.
Never read a cookbook.
Luann turns to leave.
And it shows.
She says, "You want me to get that?" She goes, No. And then she picks up the phone and goes, "You got Peggy?" I mean, I love the fact that she answers the phone. "You got Peggy."
You got Peggy.
On the other end is Hank.
I'm gonna start saying that. You got Rusty.
You got Rusty?
Yeah, you got Rusty. You got Mike. You got Mike.
He says, Hank's on the other end. He goes, "Peggy, I know it's bad customer service to cancel on such short notice, but I have to do an errand for Mr. Strickland tonight." Peggy says, "If you could see my face right now, you would know that I have never been more disappointed or more beautifully made up." He says, "Geez, Peggy, I'm really sorry." He's kind of in the dark, and he's got that shotgun sitting on his desk. It's really kind of ominous looking.
It is kind of ominous, and I want to let you know, guys out there, if your boss ever approaches you and asks you to go
Anything
and
with a shotgun.
kill anything with a shotgun, whether it be birds, rats, rodents, dogs, cats, emus, you're gonna have to call HR.
Yeah, I would. I'd call HR immediately, unless I worked here, which we don't have one. He says, "Geez, why don't you call Nancy?" She says, "No, ever since she stopped cheating on Dale, it's Dale this, Dale that. I guess I'll call one of my other friends." And then
That's so fucked up of Peggy to say, because for once her friend is being an honest person. Because honestly, it scares me.
But it affects her.
Well, no, it doesn't scare me. Sorry, but if I have a friend who's cheating on their significant other, I kind of like makes me like, if they're willing to cheat on their significant other, what will they do to me as a friend, kind of
cheat on
thing?
their significant other,
Yeah.
I'm not their friend anymore because I don't want to be a part of that. Plus,
Yeah, it's a lot
I
of-
can't trust you.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be your friend anymore. She says, "I guess I'll call one of my other friends," and then she realizes, "Oh shit, I don't really have any other friends." You know, you can see it on her face. And so she hangs up. She goes, I'll just, and then she sees Luanne go by in the car. She goes, Luanne. She goes running after her, and she honks. Hank is on the other end. He goes, I'll make it up to you. You can alter that 1 dinner coupon to 2 dinners, and I'll initial it when I get home. I'll initial it. She hangs up. Bobby walks through, and she goes, it's you and me tonight, Bobby. You want to hit the air hockey table? You got what it takes. He goes, oh, I can't tonight. Joseph and I are having a guys' night out. Last time you came, it was kind of weird. He had a sleeping bag under his arm. He leaves. Next thing we see is we are at the Zeta Sigma Tau Rush Week. That's the banner that's up over the Zeta Sigma Tau house. And Luann's going in there. There's pledges in sweaters with the ZST on it for Zeta Sigma Tau. And they are all singing, long have I cherished Zeta Sigma Tau. I'll pledge my love to the now and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they're all singing. And then Luanne comes to the door with a 6-pack in hand. She's got those tight ass weird shorts she always wears.
Them bike shorts.
Yeah, they're bike shorts. She's got that shirt on. She looks exactly the same she always does. Little hillbilly-ish. She comes in through the door. She's got the 6-pack and she goes, woo! Oh, now let's sing Lady Marmalade. She goes, I know the words. Icky, icky, ya, ya, gee, gee, big old doggy marmalade. It's not even close.
Not even. I don't think that's remotely close, but I love it.
It's very good. She's in there just shaking her butt at the thing. Now we're on a tour of the rooms, and she is part of this group that's being introduced to the house and where they sleep and all this. And she goes, the lady giving the tour, she goes, and this is where we sleep. Although don't get a lot of that done. We mostly stay up late talking about what we'd eat if we weren't dieting.
That's depressing.
She goes, Zeta Sigma Tau. Any questions? And Luanne, of course, pipes up. A guy on the football team said that all Zeta Sigma Tau girls were sluts. Is that true? Because I can't join if that's true. You just ask them straight up, are you all a bunch of sluts? Everybody was super shocked, on their face.
Why in the hell would you just say that?
The other pledges, oh my God. And then one of them says, Catherine, I have a question. And the girl giving the tour goes, you're a legacy? She goes, yeah, my mother and my grandmother were sisters at Texas Tech, because she gave her the secret handshake, right? The secret Zeta Tau,
whatever it is. Yeah, their secret society stuff.
And then Luanne, hearing this, goes, your mother and your grandmother were sisters? Shoot, your family's more messed up than mine. I mean, she thinks that her mother and her grandmother were sisters. And so the lady giving the tour says, so was your mother in this house? She's talking to them. She goes, well, she's been in a halfway house and in the big house. And then everybody just kind of looks at each other. And she goes, she stabbed my daddy in the back with a fork. And then everybody just laughs at Luanne, and Luanne's super sad. It's actually kind of, I mean, because Luanne doesn't know. I mean,
Luanne doesn't know. And not only does Luanne not know, I just don't really think it's fair for people to pick on her at all, because she's really naive. She doesn't really get sarcasm.
No,
she's a real literal. She's a real literal person,
Very
and
much so.
I don't think it's. I don't know. I think it's okay to make fun of her, but I don't think it's okay to take advantage of her like people do.
And that's just really mean spirited right there. All 4 of the guys now are at Buck's Ranch. They're getting out of the truck. They all have guns, with the exception of Bill, of course. And Hank says, I want to thank you guys for giving up time with your family and loved ones to help me kill these emu. Of course, Dale, he doesn't have a normal rifle. He's got the assassin kind, where he's having to put it together piece by piece.
Yeah.
He goes, no problem. As a professional exterminator, I'm a killer for hire. Even though I'm a killer for hire, I'm doing this pro bono. That means I get the bones. I know a Chinese guy who uses them to get erections.
God damn.
Such a weird thing.
That is kind of weird.
Hank goes up and he shakes the little feed bucket, and the emus start running out, and Bill's like, oh, they're beautiful. Hank starts feeding it out of his hand. He goes, oh, how do you like that? It's eating out of my hand. And they all start feeding out of everybody's hands. Hank is like, hello, fella. Like they're really taking in these emu. They think they're just gracious and beautiful and glorious and all this stuff. And Bill says, oh, it tickles. Hank, I can't kill something that tickles me. And then, of course,
I can't kill something that tickles me. That's funny.
Of course, Dale, cowards, move away from the emu. He gets it in the sight, and he's staring at it, and he tries to pull the trigger and I can't do it. Yes, I can. No, I can't. It's too damn majestic. Wait, I found the string. Oh, who am I kidding? Hey, is that one laughing at me? No, he's still being majestic. He's just like up and down with the gun.
I have some more emu facts to
please,
interject with right here, and also a quick fact. So the sorority leaders are voiced by Anna Faris.
Oh,
if you didn't catch that.
okay. No,
and that's both of them are actually voiced by
both
her.
of them are Anna Faris?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
All right. So emus.
Emus.
I don't know if you remember them. They had these things called wildlife fact files back in the day, and what it was like a binder. And when you opened it up, it had each one of them had like a different fact
Wouldn't
file.
You get one like they had a thing.
I just found them at my parents. I found my old ones at my parents.
Yeah, they had
I was
a thing on
digging
TV,
through shit.
like you ordered them from there, or maybe you got them at the grocery store.
I don't even remember where we got ours from. I want to say they were at the flea market or something like that. My mom would always she was always, she never had a whole lot of money to always buy a bunch of shit when we went places and stuff like that. But whenever we went to the flea market or thrift stores, I was a big book guy. Books are 50 cents. I could always
sure.
That was the good thing about liking books is my mom could never tell me no because it was only a quarter or a dime or something. It's a dime or it's a bag for $1
or whatever.
It was a book
to make you smarter.
Well, not only that, when you go to like places back in those days, anyway, you get like a bag of books for $10. You get a bag of books, not even $10. You get a bag of books for like $1.
Yeah, sure.
At the flea market. So,
hell, you could go over.
That's where I got them from.
You could go over to Golden's Book Exchange here. Yeah. Used bookstore we've got. They 10 cents a piece still.
I haven't been there in a long time, but at one point I had a really good trade deal going where I'd built up so much credit. If there's a book I wanted, I'd just go in and grab it. And my trade credit was so good because I'd trade books. I'd go buy a bunch of books, buy the bag full, and keep the ones I liked, and then trade out the ones I didn't. And but I'd got those fact files. So back to the fact file thing, and this is what this reminds me of. Those fact files. I went and looked for the full set on eBay. I think I'm gonna get them. They're like $80, but I got my toddler loves animals. Yeah, it's called Wildlife Fact File. It has animals, has insects, it has sea creatures, and they all have their own little fact file where it tells what they eat, their habitat, how long they live. If it's a sea animal, it tells you what range they live at in the ocean. So it's kind of a neat little thing.
Well, I will say that was the nice thing about encyclopedias. I mean, I know we don't.
I still have
buy
a couple sets
and stuff anymore, but
I still have a couple of sets.
You could look up anything at that point, and no internet needed or anything like that.
I have a post World War II 40s.
They would get out of date real quick, though.
Yeah, they do. I have a post World War II 1940 ish. I can't remember the date on it. It's like 1949 or something like that. Encyclopedia Britannica set.
Oh,
it's like big old red books.
Yeah.
And I also, unrelated to encyclopedias,
it was usually like
cool
one
book
letter
I have
was missing though.
Yeah.
Like it was always Q or something.
Something like that.
Right in the middle of the freaking collection.
But I have the entire set, even the ones at the end, like the reference and all the weird little
Have
ones.
you ever seen I mean, do you know that they used to you'd go to a grocery store and you buy your groceries, and if you spend $100, you'd get a free whatever. And so a lot of times it was an encyclopedia.
No, I don't know that. I didn't know that.
Or stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, back in the day, whenever somebody had like old books, since I was a big book fanatic, anybody in the family that wanted to pass down an old book or an old set of encyclopedias or anything like that, for some reason they didn't give them to their own kids. They would give them to me.
Oh yeah.
My aunt was real bad about it. She gave me this book that my cousin had pined over for years, and she just didn't think that my cousin would take care of it. She's probably right, but it was a Robinson Crusoe, but not a really specific one. A lot of people don't understand. Illustrated books in early 1900s were expensive books.
Oh sure, yeah.
Illustrated with color, even doubly more expensive.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My great uncle worked for the post office, and he was 10 years old or 11 years old. It was like 1911 or 1910. He was born in 1900, so he was like 10 or 11, and he was working for the post office as a little kid doing mail. He had been working for him at this time around 10 or 11 for like 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And one of the gifts they gave him for Christmas one year was a fully illustrated version of Robinson Crusoe, and somehow it passed down completely in decent condition. It's got a little bit of wear on it, but I've got it in a sealed Ziploc baggie and wrapped in saran wrap and put up, but it made it to me. But the facts of emus. That's where I was like, I don't know how we got right there,
That's
but
okay.
all right. Emus are flightless birds native to Australia. They're actually the tallest native bird there. The average emu is
Big birds.
69 pounds and the females are 82 pounds. So
Wow.
honestly, they're not very big, but they're strong as
They'll
shit.
kick the hell out of you.
Their legs are strong
Yeah.
because they can run like
That's
30
the
miles
thing
an
in
hour.
Australia, there's at least 2 things that could kick you to death.
The ones that scare me the most aren't the emus. It's the cassowaries. I think that's what they're called. Cassowaries, Cassowary. They're the ones that have the big claws. They're the big flightless birds, not as big as an emu or an ostrich, but they're kind of big like them, where they walk around flightless on 2 feet. But when they jump, they have them big claws and they launch their legs at you with their claws, and they will cut a man's stomach open because that's what they go for. They'll go for your gut, and they could literally one slash can have you eviscerated.
I'll stay away from the cassowaries.
But male emus are naturally more friendly than the females. The emu's lifespan is 25 to 28 years. Due to their size, there's actually very few natural predators. Well, they don't have very many predators either, so they're not necessarily predators, but they don't have very many predators. And the chicks are the ones that are vulnerable to the
crocodiles,
predation.
but they probably don't get close enough to the water to get taken down by them.
They can outrun them too.
Yeah.
And they can cut, like they can run 31 miles in one direction and cut and then go 31 miles again. You know, they're fast birds.
All right. So we are outside of the Zeta house. A girl, Luanne is sitting on a bench outside of this house because she's depressed at this point because the girls were making fun of her, basically. You know, they were all laughing at her. So she's sitting there and this girl passes by her. The girl is in all light blue, sweatshirt, sweat bottoms, and just has the big Omega symbol on her shirt, right? And she says, hey, she passes by, sees Luanne. She goes, hey, did you just break up with your boyfriend, girlfriend? Luanne says, I just got thrown out of a stupid sorority by a bunch of rich, stuck-up cool girls with great clothes who think they're just so hot because they don't have any mamas in jail. And the girl says, your mother is in jail? Wow, it's amazing that you're in college and not trying to mug me or sell me drugs right now. Luanne says, I think so too.
Yeah.
The girl says, I'm Jane. She says, Luanne. Because you know who'd really get you? The girls at the Omega house. That's where I live. Maybe it's just me, but I like being somewhere where people aren't snooty and mean, but they like you for who you are. And Luanne says, yeah, people should be liked for who they are. You know, you look so much better with your hair thrown off to the side just a little bit. So this is a great joke because she says people should just be exactly who they are, but you should change your hair. Is what she
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
starts telling her what she needs to change.
Yeah.
Shout out to Evil Ringo. He's
Evil Ringo.
He's our local guy. He's the postcard sender.
He called
our
us
friend
a couple of weeks ago. I need to play that.
Yeah, he's our friend.
All right, so
Mr.
we're back at the Hill house. Peggy's at the kitchen table playing Operation by herself. Nothing sadder than a person playing Operation by themselves.
Well, of course, Peggy's not playing it by herself. She's practicing for when she plays somebody else.
I don't know. She picks up a card and reads it and goes, funny bone for 400. And then
well, it's practice,
she
though.
tries to do it. And it's she keeps screwing it up. She puts a lid on it and she goes, I'm sorry, I've done all I can. And like she's a surgeon that's just letting it go to God or whatever.
He flatlined.
Luanne comes in and says, Aunt Peggy, guess what? I'm in a sorority. This girl Jane said that I was a natural born Omega and wanted me to move right in. I'll never have to waste another Friday night playing games with you ever again. Wow, that's a little rough there, Luanne.
It's warranted though. I think it was the jab back though. She tried to jab her, so she jabbed back at her.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, so the 3 guys are out waiting by the Bugabago. They've gone over to Buck's house. Hank knocks on Buck's door. Buck comes to it, like I said, with no shirt on, and you can see his big ass scar right down his chest where he's had all his bypasses. Hank shows him a feather and says, "It's done, sir." Good job, old top. I'll see you at work. And he pulls the feather from his hand and goes, I could use that. And he takes the feather and closes the door. Like, I don't know what he's going to do with it, but he can use that. Bill, talking to Hank as he goes back to the truck, goes, did he buy it? Goes, I can't believe I lied to my boss. I should have done the honest thing and murdered the emus. And then we see that all the emus are in the van. One of them is sitting behind the steering wheel. Dale looks at it and goes, oh, look at Fuzzy. He looks like he's driving. Just so cute. All right, now we're at Omega House. Everyone there is dressed the same.
It's starting to flesh out now and start to look really cultish.
Feels a little culty. Luanne says, "Hi, Jane." And then the girl turns around and goes, "Luanne." And she says to the other girls, "This is the sad girl who drinks alone on campus that I told you about."
God,
There's a
damn.
big ass, by the way, this whole house is surrounded by a giant fence. There's like a gate to the fence in the front that it's controlled by a touchpad and the whole thing. I mean, it's pretty well locked down. Everybody moves up to the gate and they're talking to Luanne. She goes, "I'm so glad you came. Stand back while I disarm the gate." By the way, the code, I believe, is 761 if somebody wants to correct me on that, but I slowed it down and watched it twice, and I think the code is 761. Not that that matters or anybody cares, but it's 761.
761.
She opens the gate. She goes, "Go on in. I'll grab your bags." And then as everybody goes in, a van pulls up, big black van pulls up. Two guys jump out in sunglasses, and they say, "Lisa, we're here to help you." And they grab her, and she goes, "I'm not Lisa. My name is Jane. Let me go." They dump her in the van. And then apparently Lisa's mother is in the van. She's, "Oh, my baby, we finally found you. We got to go. We got to move." And these guys are like, "This cult has lawyers out the yin yang, and they know how to use them." And that van pulls out so fast, like it just peels out. And then the last thing we see before this commercial break is Luanne just kind of shaking her ass in the doorway going, "Woohoo, Omega House forever." And then that is our first commercial break.
That is our first commercial break.
And we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, I'm April,
Hi, I'm Caroline.
and we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime,
Rape.
rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, and we are back. We are back at the Cult House or the Omega House. Everyone is in the same clothes. They're all holding hands. They light some candles and stuff. I mean, it's getting a little creepy here. It's getting a little culty, right?
Yeah,
And
no,
so,
for sure.
the girl, it's in charge, the Jane that's in charge says, "Welcome to Omega House. I am Jane. This is Jane. This is Jane. Jane. What's your name?" Pointing to the new girl. And she goes,
Jane.
"Bonnie." She goes, "No, it's Jane. Bonnie is the name your parents gave you. Why should they get to tell you who you are? They don't own you. What's your name?" She goes, "Jane."
That's what I think's funny. They sit there and say, "Well, you get to, your parents don't own you. They can't tell you what your name is, but
But we
your
can.
name's Jane.
Yeah, we can.
But your
That's
name's
right.
Jane. Sorry."
So they
Yeah.
all go over there and they start hugging on the girl and go, "We love you, Jane. We love you, Jane. We love you, Jane." And I mean, it is getting very, very culty.
Well, that's the thing is what they say is when anybody love bombs you like that, and it's pretty cult.
Oh, it can be. Yeah.
If you got a bunch of people, that would creep me out, honestly.
Luanne has no idea what's going on.
You got to be really out of your head to. I really don't understand, and I guess I never will.
Cults?
Is the cult behavior?
Well, they say
never
that like
understand
when you realize you're in it, you've been in it for a while. Like it just sneaks up on you.
Once you,
Boom,
once you turn around, you look and you start looking around. You're like,
yeah,
"Oh, what the hell is this?" And you're like 7 years
don't get
in.
a cult.
And we know a little bit about cults. I
we
live
do know a
12
little bit
miles
about
from.
that
I live
around
about 12 miles either direction from what was one of the worst cult things to happen, and then one that is currently active. I live 12 miles away
What's
from about
currently
each.
active? You talking about the ones out in
Homestead Heritage.
Yeah, Homestead.
I don't like to say it out loud. A lot of people
I
in
got you.
town don't like to say it out loud
I
either,
want to
but
go out to.
they definitely are very
I wanna
cult
go out
like.
to East Texas, where that one is.
You talking about the original location?
No. This is
the
an
Branch
ongoing
Davidians?
cult right now. They own a little restaurant out there, and then they built this compound. The lady that runs it, the woman that runs it, says she's an alien. All of this kind of stuff. She puts out these videos and stuff. I've tried to reach them a couple of times.
I thought
if
you were
anybody
talking
knows
about
anybody in the ongoing cult out in East Texas, get them in touch with me because I would love to go visit. And it's not to make fun or anything like that. I just want to see how this works.
I thought you were talking about the Renaissance Fair.
No,
I watched that.
That's a
with,
different cult.
I watched that with my dad. My dad,
HBO?
while we were watching it, while we were watching it, he thought it was like a mockumentary.
No,
At
it's
first,
all real.
at first he thought it was, and then they started saying like real live locations, and he
Yeah.
paused it. He said, "This is real." He said, "What
Yeah.
the hell is this
Yeah.
shit?" I said, "Yeah, it's this big
No, it's a
Ren
real
fair."
thing.
And he
Yeah.
said, "I can't believe this is real."
Those
He said,
people
"This
are-
is a real thing in
That
Texas."
dude is nuts. That dude is he's just a little nuts.
That one was really nuts. The
Uh-huh.
one that was cool to me though was as far as like these new recent documentaries coming out about people. Evil Ringo, sorry, said funny enough, the Branch Davidians are still active, which he is,
yeah,
which he is
definitely.
right. I've delivered packages out there when I was doing packages,
Yeah.
like every 2
We had
years ago,
one
whatever it
come
was.
in, when we were over at our last location doing an interview, but it was with a guy that really is not with us, and so I didn't keep that interview. I just didn't feel right about it.
Yeah,
But I mean, if we really wanted to get those folks together for an interview, I think they would all do it.
yeah. No, I'm actually I'm Facebook friends with
David Koresh.
no, not David Koresh. I get compared to the beard and the hair thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes people say
Sure.
cult leader. No, it was one of the girls. Her sister was married to David Koresh, and I think it was one that he had a kid with. It's her sister,
Like I said, I
her
played,
kid's
I
sister.
played pool with David Koresh's lawyer, but that was about as close as I got.
My dad and his brothers used to be in bars a lot in this area in that time frame in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And they were like in their late 20s, and he was playing in all the bars and stuff on on Highway 77.
Yeah.
He played in all them bars up and down that
he was a failed rock star.
that bar
That's what he was.
mile.
He wanted to be a rock star.
They said he used to play in that. There used to be a bar behind the Spur where the Spur is. There was like another bar over there somewhere.
Oh, maybe.
And he used to play in that bar a lot. My dad said.
No, I don't doubt that.
I don't know.
Luanne sees all this hugging going on, and she's like, "Come on, guys, how about a pillow fight?" And she smacks one of them in the head with a pillow. The girl looks at her and goes, "What is your name?" She goes, "Luanne." She goes, "No, it's Jane." She goes, "Nuh-uh, she's Jane. I'm Luanne." She's still not getting it, right?
Yeah, still,
the cult girl says,
not registering just yet.
The cult girl says, "You're making this very difficult, Jane." And Luanne goes, "Well, here's a little trick I use to remember my name." What, you have to have a trick to remember your name? Here's a little trick I use to remember my name. Okay, I think of a man named Lou and then a woman named Anne, and they meet in a kingdom in the forest. What?
Yeah, I don't even question that girl.
Yeah, they're all very stunned.
She's got it.
Next thing we see is the Bugabago pulling over on the side of the highway, and they all bail out. And Dale, God, that is the worst smelling feces I've ever smelled. Worst smelling feces I've ever smelled. Hank says, we got to get rid of these emu before Mr. Strickland finds out I lied to him. Bill's like, "No, they're cute." And he starts petting him and goes, "How could anybody hurt something so huggable? Who's a good emu? Who's a good?" And that thing backs up and just knocks the living tar out of Bill, kicks him right in the stomach, knocks him the hell down. The emu jumps out, starts running away. Hank, "Oh God, don't let them get away." And then they're still kicking, they're fighting, they're scratching, they all start running off. You hear, "There's one, I got him." And then Bill says, "Why does everything I love run away from me?" Hank's like, "Because you have to pet everything like an idiot." Now we are back at Hank's house. Hank walks into his house. Peggy's on the phone, and she's looking through her old yearbooks. And she goes, "Hank, guess what? I'm thinking about rekindling some old friendships. I'm going to call everyone who wrote 'Have a Nice Summer' in my yearbook and tell them how it went." What? It's just the weirdest call. She goes, "You want to join
Weird
me?"
for real.
And you see Hank over on the other side of the kitchen. He's getting out some rope and tape and all this stuff, which I'm assuming he's going to go chase the emus back down. He goes, "Sorry, Peggy. I've already got plans. I'm making Bobby a hammock. Yeah, this rope should work." Okay, I just wanted to point out, I wrote down here, Hank is lying a lot. So he lied to Buck. Now he's lying to Peggy.
He's fib. Yeah, this
He's
is a
lied to a bunch of
big.
people in this
This is a
thing.
big Hank deceive everybody episode. I don't think he's deceiving everybody though. Hank just wants to do the right thing, and in order for Hank to do the right thing and please everybody,
Sometimes you gotta
he
lie.
has to lie in this.
Yeah, I can see that. She is not even paying attention. She goes, "Who was that girl I used to make fun of in high school? Beth Burkowski." Yeah. She looks them up in the Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages are a book that used to have people's phone numbers in them. And she goes, "Yes." And then she calls it. She goes, "Hey, Bursnatsky, guess who this is?" I mean, she's just literally just cold calling these people that she hadn't seen in 30 years.
Oh, I know.
And
It's
just
mad
like
weird.
trying to make friends with them. But she starts with, "Hey, Bursnatsky," like calling her a name anyway. All right, so we're back at the Omega house. We are it's morning time, and they're all sitting around the table for breakfast. And the main person is like scooping out rice, putting them a big plop of rice on their plate. It's good morning, Omegas. And Luanne says, rice for breakfast? We had rice for dinner. I'm losing weight because I haven't had any meat. I lose weight in my chest first. Well, I don't know that that's true, Luanne, but
Yeah.
the leader says, you think you are hungry, but you are not. Your body lies to you, just like your parents. But you can trust us. We will tell you when you're hungry. We will tell you when you're tired. Luanne says, will you tell me if I have to go to the bathroom right now? Because I feel like I do. But a lot of times when I get there, I don't. I just sit there and hum. And the girl goes, no bathroom. Number 1 and number 2 is something you did before you became an Omega. We're going to take you someplace where you only go number 3. It's called the Omega Ranch. Luanne says, this must be where we're going for spring break. The girl says, the ranch is quiet and secluded so you can concentrate on making our famous jams and jellies. They're so delicious, especially when smeared on a piping hot English muffin. She holds one up and she smells it, and then she takes a bite. And all the girls, being so hungry, they're like, ooh, all of this, they overreact to it. She says, the ranch is also where you'll get to meet Jane. And there's a picture of Jane in the background.
Jane
is this older woman, kind of looks like she could be Peggy's mother, but she's dressed in what looks to me like a North Korea type outfit, right, with the button up top, and the whole
very
flannel
dictatorial,
thing.
yeah.
And she's just right over a big tub of jam or jelly that she's making, so it's a big painting. Then we hear on the door, and pizza guy comes in and goes, how's it going, ladies? I have a large meat lovers for Luanne. Luanne goes, me. And then the leader says, you have an independent streak that makes it very difficult for us to love you. Do you like it here? She goes, well, I mean, it shows. She goes,
that's kind of fucked up.
They take Luanne and put her in a closet. She's locked in this closet, and the girl is talking to her on the other side of the door. Do you like it here? She goes, well, it's cold and you won't let me sleep, and you lock me in a closet, but I've made a lot of new friends. So yes. That is the brightest way to look at any of that. The girl says, I can assign you 10 friends for life or 0. It's up to you. Do you understand? I said, do you understand? And then Luanne starts to nod, like the lady's going to be able to hear it on the other side of the
Yeah.
Okay. So now we've got Hank and Boomhauer in Hank's truck. And Hank says, boy, if that guy on the bicycle hadn't hit it, I don't know if we ever would have caught this fella. And it pans to the back, and you see an emu tied up in the back of Hank's truck. They start to pass Luanne and all the Janes on the side of the road. They're all out there trying to sell their jams and jellies on the side of the road, which does not seem like an efficient business.
No, not at all.
But
I forgot to mention too, Heaven's Gate.
Oh yeah, Heaven's Gate. This is what this one's pretty close to.
Yeah, so Heaven's Gate.
They all dressed alike, put the same sneakers on.
Yeah, they were all wearing gray suits and Puma sneakers.
They took their poison and
they were known for
Haley's
mass
Comet
suicide.
to
Yeah,
heaven. Yeah,
that's what it was.
They were going to grab onto the tail of Haley's Comet. Yeah,
man,
it was insane.
What were they? I wonder how much of this is mental health issues and how much of it is drug related.
I think it's probably a little of both, but I think a lot of it is a control thing, and people just are so lonely and to a point where they're just like, I just need to be a part of something.
Yeah,
that's what they play on.
Well, Artie mentioned
on the most
too.
Vulnerable people.
Well, yeah. See, that's another thing that Artie mentioned. He said that there's a practice that cults tend to deprive people of protein.
Oh yeah,
because after they you're weaker. Like protein is one of the things you need like a lot of and 100%. The most of. So they kind of start they make you weak and defenseless, and you're more susceptible to being brainwashed if you're deficient of protein. And also, how in the hell did that pizza guy get past the gate?
I don't know. He just came right in. I thought.
Yeah, that guy just appeared. Yeah.
And so they're out there on the side of the road going, jams and jellies, get your spreadable fruitsies. And then Hank pulls over and he goes, Luanne? She goes, Uncle Hank, if they catch me talking to you, they'll throw me in the closet again. So she says it out loud. Yes, sir. We have blueberry. I'm so tired and hungry. Tastes delicious on muffins, bagels, or crackers. And they haven't let me pee in 2 days. I think they're trying to drive me crazy. Hank says, are you drunk? If your sorority has to sell jelly to buy beer, you're drinking too much. Now get back. Now get in the back. I'm taking you home. And no, you are not tripping. That is an emu. She climbs in.
You're not tripping.
She climbs in the back. She goes, go, go, go. And then they take off, and the Janes are all, hey, kidnap, kidnap, kidnap. We're back at Hank's kitchen, and they're feeding Luanne. She's finally getting some food. She goes, they'd wake me up in the middle of the night just to yell at me. They must really hate me. And Peggy says, oh, Luanne, all sororities do hazing. The harder it is, the stronger the friendships. Why do you think POWs are always having reunions? What the hell?
Wow. Well, it is true
They're
though.
really good friends. That's why the POWs get together. They love each other.
There's a really
God.
good psychological thing behind that about war and stuff, and like people that go to war together, and even people that fight in war against each other. So my grandma, she was alive during World War II, and after the war ended, and this is probably like in the 60s and the 70s ish,
right?
They were having Germans and English soldiers that were still alive after the war ended and stuff. It's 20 years after the war ended, so most of these guys are now in their 50s or so. So they were getting together and meeting each other up, and she said that it would oftentimes be really emotional for them and stuff like that, but they would get it was really cathartic for them, and they'd get a real lot out of it because they got to sit across a guy that they were told is an evil enemy, and like they get to hang out with them and actually get to talk to them 20 years after they fought each other, kind of thing. And that's another thing too. In World War I, there was like a ceasefire around Christmas time, and you had French and English and Americans kicking soccer balls with it, like they're all humans, and it's trauma bonding is what it is.
Well, it's not only
they're all bonded in the trauma.
When it all comes down to it, we're all human, and borders and languages and things like that are often used against us by our governments to separate us. Just like in this country currently, we have two political parties that are trying to separate us all.
Well, that's the thing,
we get together and we actually talk to each other. We can work anything.
It's gone.
We can work anything.
Well, it's like that. I can't think of his name right now, and I wish I did, because he's got a great bunch of interviews on he did a good interview with Joe Rogan, actually. But he's this black blues musician who befriends KKK members. He actively seeks their friendship, and then by the end of it, they have to analyze themselves, like, am I really like enemies with this guy? Do I really hate this guy that much? And he's got 200 plus uniforms that they've given him. Because what they do is most of the time after he befriends them, they realize that their ideas and the philosophies and stuff that they've wholeheartedly sold their whole life to, they realize that it's all just nonsense. And they end up giving him his robe. So he's got like 200 plus KKK robes. Wow, and that's what it is. And that's one of the things that the founding fathers, if anybody wants to go and really like be a real American and a true American, the two party system. Well, because everybody always tells me I can't vote anyway, but which we'll have a GoFundMe in the description for this episode on YouTube and everything. And we're trying to raise funds to get my citizenship. So we're trying to get that taken care of.
A USA person.
But to me, it's un-American to say that you have to pick one of the two choices, because if you go back to all the founding fathers' philosophies, they all spoke out against a two-party system, and how a two-party system only is installed or only comes into power into place to give you the illusion of choice, because there is no choice if you only have two choices.
That's true. I was watching that debate the other night with the vice presidential candidates.
That was actually good.
It was a good debate.
They
were
cordial.
They were.
You could tell that those are two statesmen.
And I looked at my wife and I said, why don't these two run together? Because I think it'd be better if we had a Republican and a Democrat in the White House at the same time.
I think it would be better.
It'd be a balance of power.
It would be a balance.
To work out everything.
They'd have to work things out. Not only that, I just think that
how much easier would it be to work with the House and the Senate at that point?
Their discussions and their talk or whatever, it just felt like it was two guys that really wanted to fix things and want things to be all right.
It really did. Both
it's
of them
two guys
like
to me that
I didn't hear a lot of rhetoric.
Are more humble in their experiences than the two other ones. I just don't feel humility from either candidate
anymore, man. This fight thing and all that stuff.
No, I don't feel any humility from Democrats. I don't feel any humility from the Republican candidate either. And I know we don't like to talk about politics too much, but me and Mike are purple. I don't care either way, and I don't think any choice is good right now.
I just want, whatever happens, I need a nice, easy transfer of power. Please.
I wish Donald.
Heads
I wish Donald Trump would have picked George Bush as his
They're all
his
using
vice
you.
president candidate.
Yeah.
Uh,
George Bush, huh?
Yeah, because he can't be president
Senior?
again, but he can be vice president. No, Junior.
Okay.
I like George Bush, even though we went to Iraq. Other than
He's got
that,
he's
he
got
was
a
all
very
right.
Limp handshake.
Gas was so much cheaper during George Bush's time frame.
I passed a billboard yesterday, and this tells you exactly what I'm talking about here. Passed a billboard yesterday. It said, cheaper groceries, cheaper gas, vote Republican. What? There's no promise there. You can't, there's nothing to hold you to that. That is just pandering. It's simple ass pandering. And I'm really, really tired of it.
Yeah.
I am, again, listen to me when I say this. I am not Republican. I am not Democrat. I am right down the middle, and I haven't voted for either party in a very long time. I vote for whoever else because I don't want to be responsible for any of it.
I'm going to let you know who I'm going to vote for. My first vote as a United States citizen will be for
he's insane.
Kinky Friedman.
Dead Kinky Friedman?
Oh, he's dead?
Yeah, he's dead.
Damn. Daryl Davis is the guy who collects KKK robes. Already helped me out. I couldn't remember his name. Last emu fact before we jump back in emus.
Please.
Emu meat is similar in taste and texture to a high-end beef. I can attest to that. I have there's a website called Fossil Farms, and they do a lot of exotic meat and stuff. And sometimes, you feel a little high end. You go in there and get you a couple of ostrich steaks sent to the house. They're really not that bad. It's cheaper to order ostrich steak to the house and cook it at home than it is to go to a steakhouse and order a full steak dinner of beef. So every now and again we'll order the ostrich steak and get it in. So
there used to be a
really
place here in town called O&H Rare Foods, and they had all of those kind of steaks, and they had ants and chocolate. They had shark meat. They had.
I wish they had something like that still. The only place that you could get really exotic meat,
like straight ass German.
Oh, a German thing. Yeah.
It was
I'm sure there's probably somewhere around here that you could probably get some stuff like that. I do know that the only place I know that you could get exotic meat regularly
mean ass
is Twisted Root.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
They always got weird.
Different.
I had a alligator burger there one time.
Meat's good.
Whenever my brother-in-law comes in from England, we go there and eat. That's one of the places he likes to eat at.
I like it a lot.
He said that our beef over here is just phenomenal compared to what he gets at home.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we left thinking that, or Peggy thinking that POWs have reunions because they're really good friends. Bobby comes in and says, "I just opened the garage door and something big and feathery ran out." Hank's like, "Oh God!" and he takes off running. And he goes, "I said I wanted a pony." Like it's in there for you, Bobby.
It's not for you, buddy. Sorry.
Peggy says, "Luanne, have you ever wondered why I spend every Friday night with you?" Luanne goes, "Because I challenge you with my intellectual." That's wonderful. I love that sentence. Because I challenge you with my intellectual. That tells you everything you need to know about Luanne.
And then some.
Peggy says, "It's because I never joined a sorority. I never got the chance to make lifelong friends who might drop by to drink flavored coffees, dish about boyfriends and my beauty secrets. Now it's like I am without a people I recognize. It's not like I'm without people I recognize at the supermarket, but that's just not the same." She goes, "Now, come on, get in the car. I'm going to take you back." So she's literally going to take her back to the cult that locked her in the closet. Great job, Peggy.
That's rough.
We're back at the Omega house.
Well, Peggy doesn't really understand the situation fully yet either. I think she thinks that she's just trying to get out of it.
She doesn't think.
But you don't. You're right.
Everything's about her. They're back at the Omega house, and the main leader is like, "I don't know who she is. We've never seen her before." They're behind the locked gate. Peggy says, "Please just give Luanne another chance. I didn't like your jam at first, but I gave it a second chance." And so the girl turns around and she's like, "So you brought her back?" Because I'm sure that never happens. She goes, "How would you like to come in for some rice?" And then we go in the Omega house. All are kind of gathered around.
I love rice, though. They couldn't even, like, when they say, "Hey, would you like to come in for rice?" I could just eat bowls of plain rice
I'm not eating
all day long.
Luanne looks super worried as they're still talking. She goes, "As an organization that promotes love and unity, Omega House appreciates a mother as caring as you are." Peggy's like, "Oh, I'm too young to be Luanne's mother. I am her aunt."
Young to be her mother, but old enough to be her aunt. That's kind of.
The girl goes, "I wish I could jump in your head and crawl around. Well, you seem like a fascinating individual. You are probably very popular." and she's playing on Peggy's insecurities now here. And she goes, actually, no. It's like I was trying to tell this guy in the soup aisle yesterday. I call him Soupy. It's difficult to find people you can really connect with.
Did she just name everybody?
She calls him Soupy.
Does she got to have a name for everybody though?
The girl.
Imagine if you're the guy in the wood aisle, you're just Woody.
You're Woody.
Yeah.
The girl says, well, people of high intellect often intimidate people. I just wrote in giant letters here, perfect for Peggy. This is absolutely the perfect place for Peggy.
You know, that's the thing is with intelligence, and this is with people kind of like Peggy, the person in the room that's yelling, I'm the smartest person in the room, is usually
Not.
the dumbest person in the room, because it takes a really intelligent person to know how dumb we actually are.
Well, it takes an intelligent person to not insert themselves in everything also.
Yeah.
She says, and you are of high intellect. Peggy, no matter what you've been told by your husband. Peggy goes, no. She goes, your father. No, not really. She goes, your mother. She goes, oh, how did you know? I mean, well, it's like the third thing she guessed, Peggy. And I mean, she goes, because we love you. We love you, Jane. We love you, Jane. And they all gather around and start hugging Peggy now. So Peggy's now part of the cult. And that is our second commercial break. We will take that, and we'll be
right back.
Right back.
Snack Attack is a podcast about the history of your favorite snacks, candies, and treats. Each 5-minute or less episode features the history of a great snack from around the world. We'll also visit what the status of the snack is today and give you a little knowledge to lord over your friend. Snack Attack is available anywhere you get your podcast or at roguemedianetwork.com. Let's get snacking!
Step into the unexpected with Cultastic, or How to Start a Cult Without Really Trying. A podcast where cult creation unfolds in the most unpredictable way. Join us on a unique journey into the world of theoretical cult formation. Unlike any other podcast, each episode of Cultastic is co-written in part using ChatGPT, and we let it decide our fate, good or bad. What makes Cultastic truly intriguing? We don't know what's coming each week. Together with our AI co-author, we'll discover and build this cult, one episode at a time, exploring various aspects of cult dynamics, leadership, and group psychology. Delve into themes of charisma, influence, and the power of group thinking. It's a blend of expert analysis, theoretical exploration, and the unforeseen twists of AI-generated ideas. Remember, Cultastic is an exercise in imagination and education where we weave a narrative one episode and one tenant at a time. Curious about where this journey will take us? Subscribe to Cultastic, or How to Start a Cult Without Really Trying on your favorite podcast platform, or at roguemedianetwork.com. Let's build this mission to save the people of Earth, week by unpredictable week.
All right, and we are back. We are starting at Strickland now, and Hank is on the phone. He's talking to people, and you can see a map behind him where there's a bunch of red X's on it, right? So he's trying to track down these emu. But he says, okay, we'll have your tanks filled by tomorrow. Now, would you mind answering our customer service survey? And he gets up and he looks at the map and he goes, have you seen any emu in your yard or adjoining property? In comes Buck and goes, Hank, I need you to dig up them emu and drop them off my insurance company. Dang pencil pushers won't pay my claim without the corpus delicti. Apparently my grief ain't proof enough. And he hands Hank a shovel. The phone rings. Hank picks it up. Hello? It's Peggy, and she goes, Hank, great news. My new best friend Jane took Luanne back and invited me to sleep over. He looks outside and he can see Dale being chased by emu. The emu are pecking at the windows. They're chasing them all around out there. She says, I didn't have a nightgown, Hank, but the Omegas gave me a jumpsuit, just like all the other girls. And he's still watching all this crap going on outside the window. And he goes, oh, God dang, I got to run. Have fun, Peggy. And hangs up the phone. So he didn't connect as to what Peggy was doing. Peggy didn't connect as to what he was doing. Peggy certainly didn't connect as to what the danger is here for her and Luanne. Now we're at the Omega house, and they're in the bedrooms and they're packing up because they're going to the big ranch or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And Peggy's like, you know what I love about this place? Nobody ever gets tired of hearing about me. My hobbies, favorite movies, my deep-seated resentment towards my soul-crushing mother. I never want it to end. Well, no shit, Peggy, because it's all about you. Luanne says, it never has to end, Aunt Jane. See, once we get to the ranch, it's going to be so beautiful and peaceful, just like a tanning bed. That makes no sense, Luanne. Peggy says, you know, at first I thought I was dizzy from hunger. Now I realize it's just bliss. No, it's not. Now we transition over to a place we've never seen before, Durndal Meats, with a big cow head sign out front. All four of the guys are in there, and they're trying to figure out a way to not have to kill the emu, or at least prove something to the insurance company for Buck about the emu being killed.
Honestly, this scene right here where they talk about butchering him and all that, I honestly don't understand why they didn't just take it to a butcher.
What, the emu?
Yeah. And had it butchered.
They're big eyes and they're cute. And they didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but that removes the, like, if he wants to pay for the meat bill, then just take that thing. That's probably about how much it probably costs to have it slaughtered and cut up.
Think about it though. Right this minute, they don't even have them. Like, they've all run off somewhere.
Yeah, you're right.
So Hank says, "Okay, we'll take 2 of the strip steaks, 3 pounds of the ground chuck, and 4 emus. Oh, and could we get them shot, please?" Butcher goes, "Sorry, we don't carry emu." He goes, okay, give me 75 pounds of beef, and you got any extra beaks you could throw in there? Dale says, don't worry, Hank, I got some beaks. Then they go out to the truck.
Yeah, why's he got beaks?
I don't know. You go out to the truck and you've got all of this packaged meat like you get at the butcher. You know, it's all in the white paper and taped up and everything. By the way, Hank's license plates, UD3170.
What's
I don't know
that?
if it changes
Say
throughout
that
the
again?
show. UD3170.
UD3710.
Oh,
run
170.
it. Run his plates.
And I don't know if that is like a reference to something maybe somewhere, but if anybody knows anything about UD3170 being Hank's plates, let us know. Hank says, how about this? We didn't want to cruise around town with a truckload of dead emus, so we had them butchered and packaged. Mr. Strickland will buy that, right? Dale says, Bill believed you, and he was there. Look at Bill and he goes, huh? It's just like Bill just, huh? Yeah,
Bill's dance.
But how am I going to explain a $400 meat bill to Peggy? It's not even a 3-day weekend.
I like that. That's funny.
It's a good thing she's on her ladies' sleepover at Omega House. And then Dale comes in, and this is where Dale actually is handy. He goes, Omega House, huh? I exterminated over at the Omega House once. It's a cult, you know. They paid me in jams and jellies. He goes, what are you babbling about? Omega House is Luanne's sorority. He goes, what am I babbling about is how the Omega cult recruits unsuspecting young women from campus, deprives them of protein, bathrooms, and all contact with their families and friends, and then ships them off to a ranch for general enslavement. Hank goes, oh, God, Peggy. And so we now transition over to the Omega house. They are loading big 50-pound bags of rice into a yellow school bus, because all cults own a school bus for some reason.
And all cults only feed people with rice.
Hank and the guys pull up in his truck, and he sees one of the girls loading the thing, and he goes, excuse me, are y'all with the cult? She goes, we are not a cult. We are an organization that promotes love. And he goes, yep,
this is it. Yeah, this is it. All right, we found the spot.
He goes up to the gate, tries it. It's locked. He goes, Peggy, Luanne, it's me, your husband and your uncle. And from inside, you hear, we don't have any Peggy's or Luanne's. You're thinking of Blonde Jane and Old Jane. They don't want to see you. He then tries to knock the gate down because he just wants to get to the girls. Peggy, Luanne, Old Jane, Blonde Jane. And then Dale, of course, it's too late. They've been deprived of protein so long that their bodies are feeding off their own brains. They're nothing but soulless autonomonomatons. I mean, he says he inserts
autonomatons.
Yeah, but he inserts way too many decibels or syllables. And then at the end of this thing, after the credits, it's pronounced completely differently.
Yeah.
So autonomatons is the way he says it this way. Hank looks around. He sees 3 frat boys across the street. They've got a grill. It is a Wagner, by the way. It's a grill, and they're just over there like doing, a bunch of grab ass or whatever. It shows Hank, and he goes, "This is a job for meat." Next thing we see is the Omega House. They're getting ready to leave in the bus. The leader, James, the bus is here. Leave everything from your old lives behind. Inside, everybody's rocking back and forth in a circle. Then we see Hank. He's unwrapping meat on the tailgate. He starts putting it on the grill. They start fanning the smell over towards the Omega House. And then the girl says, "Except for work gloves, you'll need those." They're still fanning the meat smell. Out on the outside, Dale is like, "Oh, God, my arm, it's cramping. I'm down. He goes, "Dang it, Dale, my wife is in there. Keep fanning." And they see the girls start coming out to get onto the bus. He sees Peggy. He sees Luanne. He goes, "Peggy, you can't get on the bus. Trust me, you joined a cult." And there's this chant that's going on now. Jam, jelly, jam, jelly, jam, jelly. As they're getting onto the bus, Peggy, she starts smelling, and she smells that meat cooking. And she comes out of her trance, right? Starts going over towards the thing. Hank says, come on. Luanne and Peggy both run to the meat. And then the cult leader behind her said, "No, do not listen to that he person. He is on the wrong side of the love fence." And Peggy says, "This man looks like he could use some jam and jelly." They both go to Hank. They're still inside the fence. He's still on the outside. Peggy says, "I'm sorry, Hank. My new friends have invited me to spend eternity, I think, with them." He goes, "Well, all right, have fun then, but maybe you'd like a little bite for the road." And he forces a piece of steak into her mouth. She eats it. You can see her whole countenance change. She's like, oh, so good. And then the cult leader's in the back going, "Oh, Jane, get back here." She turns around, looks at her, and goes, "My name is not Jane. My name is Peggy, and I love meat." And then one of the cult members is like, "Hey, can you smell that?" The other one's like, "Can you?" She goes, "Look, that guy's giving out food. I'm sorry. I'm just so freaking hungry." And they all start running over there. One of them runs over to Bill. He's feeding them a little meat, and he goes, "Oh, this one tickles too." Like the cult member tickles. Luanne, she starts coming to, and she goes, "That's funny. I can't remember my name. I think it starts with an R. Wait." And then Hank gives her some food through the fence. She goes, "It's Luanne." Like she just came out of a trance just because she ate a piece of meat. And then the cult member, she punches in the code, opens the gate. All of them run out. The main cult leader, she's like, "James, come back. Jam, jelly, jam, jelly, jam, jelly, jam, jelly. James, come back." And then that is it. Everybody's out of the cult.
That is it.
And they are all taken care of. You see the credits. And then after the credits, or after the credits, and something happens during the credits, but after the credits, you hear autonomatons. I mean, it's just like it's 400 syllables.
Whatever it is, it ain't right.
Peggy hugs Hank, and they go back to the car, and she sees the emu. But anyway, we then go over to, we see Buck coming out of Strickland Propane, and he's putting his key in, and he looks in the window of his car, and in the reflection, he can see these emus coming up behind him. He turns around, and you just see his feet and his keys drop, and he goes, "Ah!" So he gets attacked by the emus. And then this is one of the most full credit scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is.
You get the Buck thing, you get the automaton.
Yeah, it gives you a lot there at the end. It wraps up the whole episode. It wraps up every plot.
And then during the credits, it's 4 emus in the place of Hank and Bill and Boomhauer and Dale, and they're just standing there by the fence going grr, 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 throughout the entire credits.
Yeah,
and that's it. That is season 6. Episode 17. This is Fun with Jane and Jane from April 21st, 2002.
It is, yeah.
It was a good episode. I really enjoyed
that. Is a good episode.
Honestly.
That's one of the funner ones. That's one of the ones where both plots are pretty funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some movies you get the A plot that's good, or the B plot's good. But in this one, both plots, it's like A1 and A2. Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I enjoyed it. Well, guys, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the new set.
Yeah, we
Hope
appreciate
you enjoy
it.
the good sound. If you have anything or any reason to reach out to us, please do. You want to tell them where they can find us?
Yeah, you can find us at bwaaaakoth@gmail.com. That's where you can email me. And remember, we're looking for voice actors for our little bit stuff that we're doing. We've done some Jimmy Witcher. We've done some Principal Moss. We've done some Bobby Hill. I would love for y'all to be involved in that. So sending clips of your voices, doing those different voices, those are the ones we're looking for. We're looking for others. We're trying to do fun little scripted stuff, and we want to involve you guys so we don't have to use AI voices. It would be a lot funner to use y'all's voices with our scripts. Also, you can find us on social media at BWAAAKOTH. That's on TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff, Twitter. If y'all could go check us out there, follow, like. We post clips. You can interact with me there on most of those places and things, and we appreciate it.
I've built up a little guardrail.
He's
here
building a fort.
Yeah, I'm building a little fort. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Make sure you check us out on social media. Check out our shorts. Remember, every Monday is video like this, where you'll see fabulous things like this beautiful fort that I've built. And then Fridays we have our That Ain't Right Friday episodes where Rusty and I talk about either
whatever
happened in the King of the Hill community or things coming up, or I don't know, our
just whatever
rash we have this week.
We just like to chat.
But we thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you'll be around next time.
We Matanye.
We Matanye indeed. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.